Good morning, boys and girls. Today we will continue with our first chapter and try to finish it up. Okay? Now, so boys and girls, you can see on your mobile screens that today we will begin from here. Okay? Last time I'm sure you remember that we did till here, and this is what the writer Khushwant Singh's grandmother was not happy with what was taught in the new English medium school in the city. Okay, so she was not happy, she was very sad. You could see there is a picture of a very grumpy face, okay, of the smiley. Now, today we will begin from here. You can see there are certain cartoon characters, certain things written. This is just to explain to you in a very easy manner. Okay, so I'll begin reading from one day I announced. I means the writer Khushwant Singh. I announced that we were being given music lessons. So he told the grandmother one day that in this new school they were also taught music as a lesson. She was very disturbed, so she was very unhappy. Okay, as though she was not happy at all earlier, as I told you. But now when she came to know that, okay, music was also taught, she became more sad and she was very much disturbed. To her, music had Luid associations. So what, according to her, the music was a Luid association, means it was not the thing done by people, standard people, good people. Okay, nowadays you will find all people take up music, and music has also become one of the subjects in the university level. Okay, those who are big singers, good singers, they earn a lot of money. It's become a profession. People are forcing their children, many of the children are actually interested also to get into this profession. But in the olden days, singing and all was only meant for poor people, for beggars. Okay, it was not the matter of good families, decent families. It was the monopoly of harlots and beggars and not meant for gentle folk. So here they are saying it was not meant for, means gentle folk means for the noble people, for the people of higher standard. Music and singing and dancing was only done by very poor people or people of low standard. Okay. Further, she said nothing but a silence meant disapproval. So she was not happy. You can see over here, there is a picture and it says, have a nice day in the smiley. There's a cup of tea. There is an old lady who's playing the piano. She's also watching something and there's a knife in her mouth. That means she's singing, and this was disapproval. Silent means she was quiet. Okay, and this shows that she was busy working. Grandmother's busy working. Okay, and she's working on a computer, it seems. You can see her screen. She is silent. She is not speaking anything. That means she's very angry, sharp like a knife. She really talked to me after that. And after that, she did not talk to Khushwant Singh because she was very sad. And she, according to her, Khushwant Singh, because he's learning music in the school, he is now of low standard. When I went up to university, I was given a room of my own. So now he's saying that when he grew up and he went into the college, Khushwant Singh, so he was first sharing a room with the grandmother, but now he has been given a separate room by the parents. The common link of friendship was snapped, breaking suddenly and completely. Now, since he had a different room, so they did not see one another, they did not speak much, and the friendship between the little boy and his grandmother completely broke. My grandmother accepted her seclusion. So the grandmother accepted with resignation. So she resigned, she went back. She also accepted to be all alone. She was quite happy. Even if she was sad, she did not show. And what is seclusion? The state of being private, being all alone and away from other people, did not mix around much, very rare, stayed in a room, did not come out. With resignation, what is the meaning of resignation? The grandmother accepted a lonely life, all alone to live, as she accepted the separation from her grandson and objection. Okay, separation from her grandson without any objection. So she said, I would not object, I would not say anything, and I would be alone. Okay, so she did not take any objection. Now, she rarely left her spinning wheel, and she was busy all alone. So what she did, she was busy all alone. She was sitting and kept herself busy spinning thread, and she did not talk to anyone. Spinning wheel, a household machine with a wheel attached to it for spinning yarn, making a thread or a yarn out of raw cotton or wool. Okay, so this is what she used to do, because now she is all alone, so she has to keep herself busy. So this is what she did. Now, from sunrise to sunset, she sat by her wheel spinning and reciting prayers, because she was very old. So instead of singing or music, she only took to prayers, talking to God. Okay, prayer is what? Prayer is talking to God when you are all alone. So she was spinning, sitting morning to evening and making yarn. Only in the afternoon she relaxed for a while to feed the sparrow. So in the afternoon she came out of the room, left the spinning wheel, and what she did, she started feeding the sparrows, the birds. While she sat in the veranda, breaking the bread into little bits, hundreds of little birds collected around her, creating a veritable bedlam of chirpings. Now, here creating a veritable bedlam of chirpings means the birds sitting on a tree all together, maybe same type of birds or different type of birds, but they were making loud noise. All of them means chirping and sound, taking out sound, a loud sound. So, and she used to sit. You can see the old lady sitting, and piece of bread. She would break little bread crumbs and throw for the birds to eat. Some came and perched, alight or set on something. Perch means when a bird flies and comes and sit on a certain place, maybe on a branch, on a bench, or even on somebody's shoulder or hands. That's called perched. Okay, on her legs. So the birds flew and come very close, because now they are friend. They knew that she is feeding, so they were not scared of her. They became friendly to the old lady. So they used to fly and come and sit straight on her legs, others on her shoulders, and some of them even perched on the shoulders. Some even sat on her head, and there were certain who also sat down on her head. The birds were very, very happy and not scared at all, even when they were very close to the lady. They knew that she would not harm. She smiled, but never shooed. She smiled. She did not say, oh, fly away, or shoot them away. Make a person or animal go away by shouting or saying shoo. Now, when you don't want something or you don't like something coming close to you, you just say shoo, hut, hut. This is the type of words we use in Hindi. Okay, so she did not shoo them up, but she smiled. It used to be the happiest half hour of the day for her, and this was done in the daytime, and this was for half an hour every day. And this was the happiest moment when the birds came and sat all over her, okay, and on her. So she liked this very much. Now, when I decided to go abroad for further studies, I was sure my grandmother would be upset. So he said, now my grandmother, I knew she loved me so much. So now he wanted to move abroad after his schooling, okay, and he wanted to go to the college somewhere abroad and do his further studies. So he thought, grandmother, once she comes to know, she'll become very upset, she'll become sad. I would be away for 5 years, and at her age, one could never tell. So he said, now, I will be away for 5 years. For 5 years, he will go away, he would not come back. He would come back only after 5 years. And then he is saying that at her age, one could never tell. This means now she is so old. Now, during these 5 years, maybe I would see her when I come back, or maybe when I come back, she would not be alive. She would die during these 5 years, anytime. So that is why one could never tell what will happen. Okay? Now, but my grandmother could. She was not even sentimental. He said, when I was going and I was at the railway station, I was a young boy. But my grandmother did not show any sentiments, any feelings on her face. She was not sad at all. For her it was like, okay, fine, go. A feeling of nostalgia. Nostalgia is when you become overwhelmed and you get tears in your eyes, you start to cry, you are unable to speak, the voice is unable to come out properly from your throat. So that is nostalgia, sadness or tenderness, an emotional feeling when somebody departs. She came to leave me at the railway station but did not talk or show any emotion. So she was just present there because she was supposed to be there, but she did not show any emotion or feelings towards the boy who was going abroad, and that too for 5 years. Now, her lips moved in prayer. Her mind was lost in prayer. Her fingers were busy telling the beads, okay, of her rosary. So what she did, even when she came to the railway station, she did not talk to the boy. No emotions, no feelings. And he could see her lips moving. She was praying at that time. Okay, and she was lost in her prayer. She got nothing to do with what is happening on the railway station, who's going, who's coming. Her fingers were busy. She had a rosary or garland, you can say, of beads, and she was busy saying her prayers. Okay, that was what she was busy with. Silently she kissed my forehead, and when I left, I cherished, holding something dear, the moist, wet impression or stamp, as perhaps the last sign of physical contact between us. So what she did, now before the boy could sit in the train to travel, she came close and she kissed the boy's forehead, and this boy loved, he really cherished that moment. He would never forget. Cherish means holding something dear, something that you could never forget in your life, and you would, whenever you think about it, you always fall in love. You like that particular moment of your thoughts. The moist means something wet, because the lady was old and her lips were wet. Imprint means like a stamp. When she kissed, her lips, were wet, and those wet made an imprint, a stamp on his forehead, as perhaps he thought that this was the last sign of physical contact between him and his very old grandmother. But that was not so. But that did not happen. After 5 years, I came back. So what happened? Whatever he was thinking about that old lady, as per her age, he still thought, okay, but nothing happened like that. When he returned after 5 years back home, and he was on the railway station, he met the grandmother. She was still alive, and she looks exactly as she was when he left 5 years earlier. She did not look a day older. He thought that how I left her, she looked exactly like that. Even this 5 year of long time did not make her old or more older. She was still the same. She still had no time for words, and while she clasped hold tightly me in her arms, I could hear her reciting her prayers. So what she did, she was very happy, but she would not talk. When he came, and she took him in his arms, but she did not say a word. She only said her prayers, and she tightly caught hold of the boy very close to her chest. Okay, and she was still saying the prayers. So now here we end the entire first chapter. This is the end of the story. So you could see the portrait of an old lady. So this is the portrait of an old lady about Khushwant Singh, the writer's old grandmother. Okay, so we end over here. I'll be sending you the question answers. I would take some of the question answers from online, select them, read them, scrutinize them, and I would send you. I want all of you to start writing the question answers, and if there is any exercise or word meanings, just write them as you wrote in the 10th class. Okay, now every time when you begin writing a chapter, make sure you begin with a new page on the right hand side of your fair copies or your register, whatever you make. Okay, so here we end our first chapter, and I'm sure you have all understood the entire chapter. It wasn't very difficult, it was just easy for us to understand. Thank you so much for giving your precious time. Have a great day ahead. Bye bye for now.